Hello, what's going on, everybody? Today, I'm here with a review. Not necessarily something that's unheard of on the channel, just not something I do all that often. So the movie for my best friend's Exorcism just dropped in. Honestly, it's one of the most PG-ass PG-13 horror movies out there. I felt like I was watching a slightly more elevated episode of Goosebumps more than anything else. Now, this isn't to say that the book was all that hardcore in the overly terrifying department either, yet there was consistent documentation of malice that we bore witness to, which is probably why I feel like the movie didn't work as much. The book had more room to breathe. It was full of character interactions, descriptions of events, and just had a nice balance between world building and keeping the story moving. There was more time to process all the changes that Gretchen had undergone, more of Abby trying to figure out what was happening with her best friend. Even the side characters had a bit more time to feel like people with some impact. Everything involving Margaret and Glee, for example, feels much like a second thought. I almost feel as if everything would have worked much better as a series. Like, 2-episode premiere, 4 episodes released throughout the month of October, it would have even ended before Halloween. Everything in the movie just feels rushed. Now, I'm not saying that this should have been some epic or a slog to get through, nor should it be exactly like the book. It just doesn't really have that spark of enjoyment I found while reading that. I also want to talk about the tone for a moment. I mentioned that the book wasn't all that heavy in being outright horrifying. At least I can say there were some exceptions. The book also had a nice amount of cheese and camp to carry it along page to page. I didn't feel like the book was too much in one department or the other. It felt just right. The trailer for the movie made it seem more outright a horror comedy, yet I felt it was extremely lacking in both the spoopy and the funny. I didn't really laugh early on in the movie, and then during the scene where the now-possessed Gretchen is yelling at Glee about her being gay, it felt very jarring. Hell, even slightly prior to that, Margaret drops a hard D on her. Glee hadn't been gay in the book, and it just feels like they changed that about her character here just so they could have a shocking moment later. I also guess the tapeworm scene still mostly works. The exorcism itself, while providing a bit more decent humor, also plays a nice opposite to the book moment, where book Christian provided a really intense and horrifying level of extremism. His movie counterpart, while still having some of that, feels much less of a maniac explicitly doing whatever it takes, no matter the cost, and more as someone that more humbly realizes he is in over his head. While the conclusion of The Exorcism loses most of the creepy atmosphere and heart of the book had, the movie opts to give us a horrible CGI creation for our characters to, oddly enough, physically defeat. And that's another weird thing too. It's like, Andres in the book had this entire owl motif that was completely lost in the movie, so the fact that we just get something that looks much more like your usual goblin-type demon thing instead of some Aven-type creature just, I don't know, feels like a lost opportunity. I also don't really understand why Gretchen moving had to have been a plot point at all in the movie. I'm willing to just write that off as something they felt needed to be in it, I guess. That's, however, where our movie ends as an owl flies out of a tree. We get some blurbs to explain what happens to the characters, and that's that. They don't even really go into detail on all of the characters either, which is a weird thing. Would I recommend anybody to watch this movie? Maybe. Definitely has some okay production, yet I need to reiterate it all feels so rushed compared to the book. So give that a go first. Grady Hendrix is a fun author with a lot of solid and fun stuff for you to check out, and then maybe give the movie a go. My score though, 4.5 out of 10. And that's that. That's my best friend's Exorcism in a bit of a nutshell. Thank you, have a great day.